Yeah, looks good, looks good. What's going on, dudes and dudettes? So, yes, as of right now, there are 0 positive COVID tests during week 2 for the NFL, which is cool. And then, as of week 2, we all heard that Justin Herbert was the starting quarterback for the Chargers, and going into week 3 with Carolina, he will be the starter as well. It's a good matchup for him, so he should be able to win. The Carolina defense sucks. But the main reason why he is a starter is because Tyrod Taylor, the first starting quarterback for the year of the Chargers, he was out. Everybody thought it was his rib that was been bothering him, or maybe even like something to do with his heart as well, because he was released from the hospital later that day. But apparently the whole story came out that a lot of these players take painkiller injections, and it's just like a quick shot. Be able to take the painkiller a lot quicker, and a lot of these doctors for teams do it blindly, so they kind of just guesstimate where his rib was to be able to take down the pain so he could play. But apparently the doctor ended up puncturing one of Tyrod's lungs in the process. But luckily, that's why he was released from the hospital, because it looks like he will make a full recovery. It's just he probably won't be able to play most of this year, just because he could end up getting back in the same situation and puncturing that lung again. So I don't expect Tyrod Taylor to be playing the rest of the year. And it just sucks because it's just like a whole long-winded history about how bad Chargers doctors have been. I believe a guy, David Chow, who was either late 80s or early 90s to the mid to early 2000s, before 2010, he was the head doctor of the team, but he had a lot of in-house thing with his own company. Like, a lot of people sued him, especially a lot of women, because of crap he did. And the one lady had to get her leg amputated as well from crap. And then he was also getting sued by ex-players as well, and giving them painkillers when they shouldn't. So it's a lot of crazy things. I don't know why they kept that guy on for so long, and then whoever they had now to make such a dumb move. You could do like a certain type of procedure now to find out exactly where they could have taken a shot, but of course they rushed it, and look what happened. So I guess that answers the reason why a lot of Chargers players are always dropping down every year, going to suffer these weird injuries. But it's just bad that the Chargers don't put a little bit more money and effort towards that area, because they could be a lot better team if they had a lot better doctors taking care of these guys, in my opinion. Then the Pac-12 officially decided on Thursday. As I mentioned, they were going to meet, that they are officially going to come back. The start date should be November 6th, so a week later after the projected Halloween date I mentioned in the last video, which isn't too bad. It just sucks because then now you only get to play 7 games, what I hear their schedule is, which isn't bad, because of course I'm happy the Pac-12 football is back. I get to watch USC. It just sucks even if USC or Oregon, the top 2 teams, go undefeated in the Pac-12, and then they compare the resumes of that to like an SEC team, whether like an Alabama, Auburn, Florida. Those teams only lose 1 to 2 games, then they might get into the Final Four playoff over them, of course, which is gonna suck, but that's just what the Pac-12 has to deal with. So go undefeated USC, and you should get your ass in there, in my opinion. But yes, definitely happy that it's back. Hopefully we'll hear news about Jay Tufele and Elijah Vera Tucker, if they are returning back to the team or not after opting out. But yes, hopefully we get that news soon. And then yes, the Lakers did beat the Denver Nuggets in Game 4. Anthony Davis did end up rolling his ankle almost towards the end of the game, but says he'll be fine. It does hurt, but he'll be 100% going to the next game. It was a great win. They didn't give up the lead like they have been the past 2 games, and you see the result. They did get the W. It was like a 4 or 5 point W, but Anthony Davis had like 34 points. LeBron had 28, 26, but it just goes to show of what I said. If as long as those two stars, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, average about 55 to 60 points themselves, they should get the victory, and that right there is like 60 to 62 points. So it's been true so far. Hopefully they can continue it, and hopefully the other guys around them make shots. Hope that playoff Rondo is still alive and well, which he was it last night. So yeah, it was great to see. Definitely happy for that victory. And yes, they are up 3-1. The Denver Nuggets have won their past two series being down 3-1, but it's very tough to do that 3 straight times, especially when you're playing a team that's led by LeBron James, and now that he has Anthony Davis. So I maybe the Denver Nuggets could get the next game win, but I don't think it's going to go past 6 games in my opinion. Hopefully it's a Lakers-Celtics finals, so the Lakers can finally tie the Celtics in overall championships. I believe it's at 17, and be able to do that by beating them. But either way, it's going to be a great matchup because, of course, it's LeBron James' old team in the Miami Heat as well. So it'll be very cool to see. Let's keep the show going. So ex-safety, he was on the Chargers for a couple years. They did let him go, but apparently he was let go recently from another team. So the safety Jaleel Dye re-signed with the Chargers, but he is on the practice squad. So it's always good to have an extra body like that, someone you trust, even though he may not be playing right now or even dressed. So just in case there is another injury, you still have a guy you trust back there, so that's always good to see. Then Rajon Rondo, the other day, I think it was in Game 3 of the Denver game, he had passed Kobe Bryant on the all-time playoff assist leaderboard, which is cool. I think he was pretty close to passing Scottie Pippen next. I forgot if he did or not last night, but I know he has like that, and I think Magic Johnson, of course, is next, and then Steve Nash as well. So a lot of good names he's gonna pass up. Even his assistant coach Jason Kidd is up there too. So it'll be really cool to see how far he gets up there, and obviously LeBron is like top 3 anyway, so he's not gonna pass him, I don't think. Then Michael Pittman Jr., the ex-USC wide receiver, is a rookie now for the Colts. With a couple injuries that they've had there, they're looking for him to get more playing time, and he did pretty good. He caught a couple catches when he had to go in for the injury in week 2, so hopefully he gets a lot more playing time, like they said, and shows them what he can do, so he could be that number 2 wide receiver on the outside. Then a lot of other USC guys did well again. Defensive end from the Cowboys, Everson Griffin, he did really good out of USC. Ronald Jones as well. He had a score for the 2nd straight week, which is pretty surprising. Tough for him to do that his first couple years. Then Robert Woods, once again, very productive, had a rushing touchdown, I believe, against Philadelphia. Then a couple like Browns players, Malcolm Smith, the linebacker that they signed pretty late, but he's been a main starter for them, had like almost 10 tackles that game. And then also Porter Gustin, a guy who they had signed recently as well, the defensive end. He had a nice play as well, so it's really cool to see a lot of these ex-USC guys getting some playing time. Of course, there were more guys, but not enough video and not enough time to talk about all of them, but it was really cool to see. And the article asked if USC, well, they think USC can be back as a dominant program within the next 5 years. I obviously hope so. It's just tough when you get certain players and then they might be a little bit too into the glamour and the glitz of Hollywood and LA, where yeah, they were considered 4- and 5-star talented players, but once they get there, they don't develop. And you try to figure out if that is the coaching staff and the head coach, or is it just the problem with certain players that they come in and they just have that sense of entitlement. It's kind of like what Lawrence Jackson, the ex-defensive end for USC, is pretty much saying in the article, that he also said that USC should still try to go and find like inner city kids. Him himself from Inglewood was an inner city kid, and he says they're just breed differently, especially when it comes to football. They're able to do a lot of the hard work, a lot of work that a lot of the top guys don't really want to do. And that's how Pete Carroll, that's what he said while he was at USC. Pete Carroll built up his team. You would get a lot of the talented players, the good talented players, but then surround them with a bunch of guys who are the hardworking guys out of the whole football team, and be able to push everyone to do great, even if you were considered very popular or talented as well. I think that's good. I think it's the main reason why guys like Lawrence Jackson or even Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart, those guys should become assistant coaches or even assistant recruiting help as well, just because I think they know what they're talking about when it comes to bringing the passion and the correct players back to USC. They would be able to weed them out and get the guys who are going to do the program good, but it just depends what they want to do, if they want to come back or not. I don't know if they will come back with Helton there, but I just hope good things are coming for USC. Might take a while, but yeah, let's just try to get some of the good players out there as well. And then this last Monday night, when it was in Vegas for the new Vegas Raiders Stadium, the halftime show was, of course, done by one of my all-time favorite bands, The Killers. They played Mr. Brightside, one of their famous songs that they all have, and they played it live on top. I think it was the MGM Grand. They should have played on top of the stadium, but I think that ceiling is retractable and stuff, so it could have been dangerous. But yeah, of course, first Monday Night Football, or actually, yeah, the second Monday Night Football, you get one of my favorite teams to play a live halftime show. It's pretty cool. Great to see. Great for them. Obviously, their new record came out as well pretty recently, and it was good as well, so go check that out too. But yeah, thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Bye now.